Welcome back to 4th grade ELA. Today is Wednesday, May 20th. Here are our assignments for the day. We are still on Unit 4, Lesson 1. We are going to read pages 19 to 20 today that discuss sound waves. So we've read about water waves, waves on a string, and now we will be reading about sound waves. Your assignment is going to be to use the text and models of sound wave patterns to explain how waves can cause objects to move. When you're completed with that, your writing activity is to imagine that you are the air. You might not be easy to see, but you are matter. Suddenly, you hear a loud sound and begin to move as a sound wave travels by. Explain what happens as the sound waves move. The sounds move through you. And that assignment you can write or type, but it is on page 21. So we click on our link here, and it will take us to our PDF of the story. Being patient, There it is. So here's our text with notes. Today we're talking about sound waves. You are listening to your favorite band's new song. What a great sound, you say. But what is sound? Sound waves move in repeating patterns, so similar to water and waves of a string. You might not realize it, but sound is another example of a wave. A sound wave is also made of a pattern of crests and troughs. But the crests and troughs in sound waves are different from the crests and troughs in other examples of waves. You can see this difference if you make a model of a sound wave with a coiled spring toy, like a slinky. Just like in the diagram, you can push one end of the coil back and forth toward the other end. The coils will then push closely together in one area and spread apart in the next area. You can see the areas where the coils come together and spread apart. The place where the coils push closely together represents where the crest of a sound wave is. The place where the coils spread apart is the trough of a sound wave. The crests and troughs of a sound wave can move through the air. This is how we hear them. Air is made of matter. Unlike the other examples of waves that you learned about, a sound wave's crests and troughs are matter that is pushed together and spread apart. The matter pushes closely together into a crest and spreads apart into a trough. So we're going to look at both images real quick. So this first one is of a sound wave, and you can see the crests are the dark, thin pieces of the image, and the troughs are these wider, thinner, more mixed white and blue pieces. It says sound waves are made of repeating patterns of crests and troughs. The crests are where the air pushes together, and the troughs are where the air spreads out. So that's why in the crest sections, it's the little dots are closer together because the air is pushed together, and we're in the troughs, they're spread out because that's where the air spreads out. Then looking at the model of a sound wave down here, they're using the coiled toy like a slinky, and it says this coiled spring toy model models the crests and troughs of sound wave. The places where the coils are pushed together are crests. The places where they are spread apart are troughs, because remember the air is more pushed together here at the crests, and here at the trough, they're spread apart. And then here's a crest, and over here's a trough, and you can tell because the coils there's more space between them, but the direction of the wave is going this way. So you make the sound here, and it travels down. And remember, one difference I noticed was that when we read about the string, the matter is the string, but here air is made of matter. So the next section says matter in sound waves moves forward and backward. Remember, our assignment is going to imagine that you are the air, the matter. You might not be easy to see, can't see air, but you are matter. Suddenly you hear a loud sound, so the air hears the sound and begins to move as sound waves travel by. So you're going to explain what happens as the sound wave moves through you, air. So thinking about how it moves through the air. As in the other examples of waves, the matter in sound waves does not move long distances along the crests and troughs or far from where the waves started. Kind of like if you made a sound, it doesn't travel as far. You can be on one end of a field and make a sound, but it will not travel to the other end of the field without help. But the matter does not move in circles or side to side. Instead, it moves forward and backward in the direction of the wave. Think about the model of a sound wave in a coiled spring toy. So this one right here. The wave moved along the spring from one end to the other. But how did the matter move? Recall that the coils of the spring are the matter. When you moved your hand forward and backward to make the wave, the coils you held in your hand moved forward and backward too. They did not move through the spring like the crests and troughs of the wave did. You can also see how matter moves in a sound wave by tying a piece of yarn to a coil in the middle of the spring toy. So see here, there's a piece of string just like they did or a piece of yarn just like they did on the string. When you make a wave in the spring, the yarn moves forward or backward, but it does not move to the end of the spring. It also does not move back towards your hand. It stays in the middle of the spring, moving forward and backward in the same place. The matter of a sound wave moves in the same way as this yarn. When the sound wave moves through air, the matter moves forward and backward without traveling a long distance. That part's going to be useful when completing your paragraph. So if we look at this piece of yarn, it says, like the yarn on this spring toy, the matter of the sound wave does not move with the wave. It moves forward and backward. It does not travel far through the air. So notice that the yarn or the string, when it's moved, it's only moving a small piece, a small little bit. It does not travel very far. It's not going to travel all the way to this hand or all the way to this hand. Make sure that when you write your paragraph, you use the words such as sound wave, pattern, and forward and backward. If you can find other domain-specific words that you could include, please do so. Also remember that you are going to use the text and models of sound wave patterns to explain how waves can cause objects to move. So how do the waves cause the objects to move? Let your teacher know if you have any questions.